everybody, and welcome to the second video for Journal in a Box. It's a collaboration between Kristin and myself. I will leave a link to her YouTube channel down below, and when you're done watching this video, you can go over to her YouTube channel and see how she altered the box that she sent me. So I got this box at the dollar store, and all I'm doing here is just applying a coat of gesso over the whole entire thing. The box came with a piece of glass and a piece of thin, some sort of wood, but it was very cheap. I don't know. It was just a very cheap piece of wood. That was the backing. So it was meant for a photo to go in there, but I thought it would be much more fun if I still put the glass in, but just left it like a window and just made something cute for the inside cover. I kept imagining some sort of, I don't know, playful scenery. I wanted to make it whimsical. Like, when I did this box and the pages, I tried to keep Kristin in mind and her style. Not that I wanted to copy her stuff, but I wanted it, obviously, I wanted her to like it. So I wanted to do it in a style that I thought she would love. And I ended up loving it too. Like, a lot of it is me. I mean, obviously, I made it, but I have many different styles and likes, so this is just one of the sides, I guess. Is the side that closer resembles Kristin, and I wanted it to be playful and cheerful just like she is. So that's why I chose the things that I did choose for this box. So when she I found it funny when she did when she was doing her voice, not her voiceover, but when she was actually opening the box and you were hearing her reaction, I found it funny how she was like, "Oh, you nailed it." Like, that I really hit her personality. It's like, well, great, because that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to capture her and how I see her, and you know, just what I thought she would like and enjoy. So these pieces here, they're just a set of napkins that I got at the dollar store. I thought they were all polka dot, and that's what drew me to them, but when I opened it up, it turns out there were chevrons too, and I love chevrons and zigzags, and there's not too many shapes that I don't like. I love these kinds of shapes. I'm not so much for, like, I don't know, hearts and stars and stuff like that. But I thought these would be great for collage works. I'm not sure how much you actually see of it in the end. This box, I ended up loving it in the end, but there were many times where, as a friend of mine would say, it got put in the corner because I had to walk away. It was, I think in the beginning, I feel like it's different when you're creating something for somebody else. You put this, I don't know, me anyway, I worry that it's not going to be good enough, that I'm not going to do a great enough job, and they're not going to like it, and all this. So I put this pressure on myself where, I mean, really, if she didn't like the things that I do, she never would have asked me to do this collaboration with her to begin with, right? So I shouldn't have been putting all that pressure on myself. And after putting the box aside, I think I gave up on it 2 or 3 times. And then the final time that I did something, didn't like it, did something else, didn't like it. And I'm like, okay, I'm done with the box. For now, I am done with the box. It needs to go away. And I did all my pages. And then I came back to my box. And I ended up loving it. I was sad to see it go. But hearing Kristin and watching her video and getting her reaction, I had a smile permanently on my face when I was watching her video. I just loved her reaction so much. It made me so happy. So it was worth it. Starting to think I should have sped this up even faster. I hope you're not getting bored watching me put tissue paper on a box. So I feel like I've been talking forever and I'm still doing the same thing. I find this rubber spatula thing that's meant for, cooking and baking, whatever. I just picked that one up at the dollar store and I love it for applying gel medium and Mod Podge and stuff like that. I think it's great, especially like when it dries, it just peels off so easily. So try it. If you do a lot of collaging, just give it a go and see if you like it too. So my first plans for the box, I thought I was going to do it more in my colors, like this is cadmium yellow, medium hue. So I tend to use this color a lot, and turquoise and quinacridone magenta. And I thought keeping in more my usual style, that I would go with those colors. So that was my first attempt at the box. And I just wasn't liking it. And I don't know if it was because I wanted it to be more Kristin. And not to say that she wouldn't have liked it if I had done it the other way, but it's just not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted for her. It had to be perfect. So I'm also going in here now with green gold. And the reason why I use the gel plate instead of just using a paintbrush, you just get a different look. If you go with a paintbrush, you're fully getting the paint on. Whereas if you use a gel plate, it's more random and it's more distressed looking. So here, in order to get the imprint of this stencil onto the box, I laid out some quinacridone magenta onto my gel plate, then covered my stencil. It's a caramel stencil and it's called Accumulation of Circles, and I just used that for my print on the box. And now I'm going over the box with just some quinacridone magenta, and I wasn't getting the paint color, just didn't turn out quite like it usually does on the box. Like magenta usually comes out pretty dark, and this one was looking a little too pink and translucent. I say that and then I go in with this really bright neon pink, but when I was using the magenta, it's a light pink was not what I was looking for. But I'm really starting to like the addition of a neon pink. I don't use it in everything, but it has its place and it adds something, I find. So these are just some homemade foam stamps where I cut out some foam and glued it onto cardboard. As simple as that. I wanted to add turquoise. I feel like, I was going to say I feel like this is where it started to go wrong, but I don't know if it was really right before. So, I don't know. I know I was just trying to make it better. Like, the idea in my head wasn't coming out onto the box. But I just kept playing and trying. I feel like a good chunk of this video is of what didn't work. But you know, all these layers, when you look at the box in the end, I mean, there may be bits of these initial layers that are poking through, and who knows, if I hadn't done all this that I didn't like, maybe the end result wouldn't be looking quite like it does. And plus, you learn when you mess up and you do something you don't like. I mean, it's paint. You can just paint over it again, which I did a few times. And I always had 2 other boxes for backup too. They weren't the same style as this one. I actually bought 3 boxes because I couldn't decide what one I wanted to go with, and I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I had no plan made before I started. Rarely do I ever have a plan when I play. And if I do, I usually abandon it within the first minute, so I don't see any point in me making plans. Usually doesn't work out well. If I'm not mistaken, I think I cover up quite a bit of it with white paint here. And this tube of paint I'm using is just Liquitex Basics paint. And I use Liquitex just as much, if not more, than I use Golden. So don't feel like you need to have, like, I know in my gel printing videos I tend to use Golden, because I really do. I love how Golden paints look on the gel plate when doing gel printing. But most of the time, I'm using Liquitex. Like, even when I do acrylic paintings on canvas, I don't go for my Golden paints. I go for my Liquitex. I think it's because they're thicker. I like them better for doing paintings. I have tried the Michaels brand Artist Loft for acrylic paints, and personally, I really don't like them. I'd rather pay the extra $1. I think that's only maybe $1 difference between Artist Loft and Liquitex. I could be wrong, but I'd rather pay the extra and get a paint that I enjoy painting with than something that I'm settling for and be unhappy the whole time I'm using it. Kind of defeats the purpose of playing, in my mind anyway. Yeah, see, so almost everything here that was there in the beginning, it's almost all gone. I'm just going in with, I'm pretty sure this is a Stabilo All pencil. I'll be able to tell when I see the end of it. That was too quick. Yeah, that's my Stabilo All. And again, I have no idea, no plan on what I'm doing. Sometimes when I don't know what to do, I play and I doodle with it and hope something starts looking okay. And if not, it'll get covered up with more paint. So now the Stabilo All pencil, for those who don't know, it gets activated when it's wet. So I wanted to set it, so I'm using gel medium. So it's activating the Stabilo All pencil and setting it at the same time. Okay, at this point, I am not liking this at all. And I think it just gets worse. Like, to me, it's looking too bold and not in a good way. Like, I don't know. It's just not the look I was going for. Here I'm using a Diane Reevely circle, Diane Reevely stencil, and it's I believe this one's called Bubbles. I'll double check and leave a link below. And I do like the addition of the yellow through a stencil. When I was just doing it solid, it was a bit too much. And it's cadmium yellow, by the way. And this is where it starts to get better. I decided to take a Tim Holtz stencil. So I'm thinking this stencil must be one of the ones that I bought at Michael's craft store that comes with a stamp, because if you look for Tim Holtz stencils, the top section, he has a full stencil just in that top pattern, and then he has another full stencil in that bottom pattern. So the top part is called Flourish and the bottom part is called Lattice, if you were to buy the two separately. In order to get this combined one, you would have to find it at a Michael's craft store, which I'm not sure if it's still available because it was a while ago. So anyway, through the stencil I am adding Light and Fluffy modeling paste by the Crafters Workshop, and that is my favorite modeling paste that I have tried so far. And now I am going in with some DecoArt acrylic paint in neon pink. And once I added the modeling paste and this pink, and then I cover up some of that yellow, it's when I started to see hope for the box. Like right now, I know you're probably thinking, really? But it does get better. Well, if you've seen Kristin's video, you know it gets better because it doesn't look like this when I give it to her. Oh, I hear thunder. We've been having really hot weather, actually for the last probably 3 weeks or more. Been getting like high 30s, but then we'll have a scatter day where it's a lot lower, and we haven't been getting any rain. Areas around us have been getting rain, and there's even been flooding in like Toronto area and stuff like that, and I think even places that are a lot closer to us. But here we've been fine. We've even had thunder and lightning and no rain. But I think we could use a little bit of rain. And of course I can't tell if it's raining because I'm in the basement. But not for long. My doors are going up tomorrow. So excited. I'm not going to talk about it because then I'll lose track of what I'm doing in this video. And the box will be done and I'll still be talking about my new room. That little piece of wood that looks like cardboard or whatever that's down in the bottom right corner, that is the piece that I was talking about, how the cover had a piece of glass and then it had that thing. But I didn't, and I used the glass, but that was it. That thing just got, I don't know, it's probably sitting there somewhere. I'm sure I didn't throw it out. Now going back to the outside of the box, I cover quite a bit with the white paint because I was just not liking it. Just toning it all down. You'll still see the layers underneath. And my pink paint was a bit too wet. See how it's starting to look a lot more softer? I'm going in with that Deco, what's it called? Deco foil? Oh, Deco Color. It's an oil-based opaque metallic paint marker. And I love it. Like I said in my other video, I believe, it was actually watching Kristin's videos that I saw her use this marker, and I just fell in love. Like, it makes it look like liquid gold. It's, I can't describe it. Like, it looks like you actually gold foiled something. Like, it's unbelievable. It's so nice and shiny. You swear you used gold leaf or something on it. And once I added that, I wanted to add it everywhere. But I controlled myself. I just did that back part and this framing here. I think that was it. I outline it a bit more on the inside, I think, maybe, or the outside. And add some splatters, and I think that was all I did. So you see my pages are already in my book, in my box. That's because at some point I had put the box away and was like, I'm done with you. And all my pages were finished. And then I came back and continued with the box. And this is a caramel stamp. I think it's here. I love this stamp. It is so great for playing with borders. It is called, of course it's French. I'm going to have to look that up. Okay, this definitely must lose something in translation, because when I type it in, it translates to cloud fries. Yeah, somehow I really don't think that's what it means. I don't know. I could see frills or something maybe. I don't know. I'm sure somebody who speaks French could help me out. So here I'm just taking the end of my pencil and dipping it in that neon pink paint and applying it to my, not my fries, to my border stamp, whatever it is called. I will link it down below. And this tool, honestly, I don't know what it's called, and I don't remember where I got it. But it has 2 different rubber ends. Yeah, I really can't remember where I got it. I'm wondering if it came with a clay tool set. I really don't know. But one end has a pointy tip, and the other one is like a slant, like a wedge. And now I'm going to go in with some Deco Art turquoise acrylic paint. So I decide to paint the other side of this piece of canvas in teal. It's a golden Pretty sure I used the golden paint for that one. And just adding some white splatters. And I sewed along the edges. And then we have some neon pink splatters as well. I had to keep in mind whatever I did to the inside of the cover, I had to keep closing the box and look on the inside, I should say on the outside, to see what it looked like from there. Because I wanted it to, like, it didn't have to look so much like a scenery on the outside, but I wanted it to make sense and not look completely odd. So everything I did, I just kept checking, closing the box and checking to make sure it looked okay. And that piece, that's an old piece of ribbon that I got where? I have no idea where I got that. Like, that stuff is old. Really old. I know I ordered it somewhere, but I have no idea. Nope. I can't even make any guesses. I just really don't know. So this is a piece that I made. It's just made out of clay. And I decided to finally paint it. I've actually had it for quite some time and just didn't do anything with it. So I finally decided to paint it and add it to the inside of the box. So I did the base cadmium yellow, and I'm doing the roof, the deco art acrylic paint in turquoise. And I'm painting the circle, the pink neon, but then I go in with some magenta because the pink neon was a bit too translucent and I didn't like the look of it. I decided to go in with some white to do some polka dots, and I just loosely, with the paintbrush, oh my goodness, can't speak. And I loosely paint with the paintbrush some windows. You see me pause all the time because when I craft, I watch Netflix. So there must be a good part on. That's why I'll stop in the middle of something. I mean, sometimes if my fingers are tapping, it's because I'm thinking. But if I'm just stopped and not doing anything, something good's happening. And that little ball, that was actually, it's made of clay. It was a part of the house, but it fell off. So I was just reattaching it. And I do paint it. I'll have to wait and see what color, because I can't remember. So I'm just going in with my black Posca pen and just doing a little bit of doodles. And you probably just heard my dog barking. Looks like I'm going to paint it yellow maybe. I guess we don't get to see it until the end. So the inside, first I had it just plain and I kept feeling like it needed something. And I decided to go in with just black and white, like the checkered frame. And I really like how it looked in the end. It just added that little bit of whimsy. Not that the Mischief Circus character and the painted house didn't add any whimsy, but I just love black and white. I guess I do go in with a bit more gold. I thought I did, but I couldn't think of where I added it. I thought it would be a lot better to go in with the paintbrush for the white stripes because it would have took a lot to do it with a Posca pen. I don't have the, you can get the Posca pen in a white tip, a wide tip, sorry, but I don't have one in a wide one. It could be nice to have. I don't know if I would use it a lot or not. For me to get Posca pens, I usually have to order them on Amazon. That's where I've gotten all of mine. I can't get them anywhere in town. I don't know, maybe Curry's art supply store carries it, but I don't have one here in town. I have to go out of town, and we don't usually go to the city where there is a Curry's. Usually if we go to that city, it's because I want to go to Curry's. I just decided to add a little bit more by drawing in some black lines in the white area, just to give it a little bit more of a doodly, sketchy look. And make sure your paint is dry before you go over it. She'll just wreck your pens. I've done it lots of times. So now that the inside's all painted, I'm going to add the glass back in and start gluing in my pieces. I'm just using a regular hot glue gun to add everything in. This pom-pom ribbon, I actually got that at Michael's craft store, and it's by Martha Stewart. That pink stuff, that is actually a mesh bag that I think it was, I think it was some sort of onions, or garlic or something. It was something along those lines. Some sort of produce came in it. And it was funny, as soon as I saw it, I thought of Kristin. I just knew I had to use it somehow. I thought I was going to add it to some of the pages, but I never did. I don't know if I forgot about it after or what, but yeah, it had to be included somehow. So, you know, before how I was saying whatever I added to the inside of the box, I wanted it to look sensible on the outside as well. So I didn't want this stark white just silhouette standing in the window. So I decided to take another image and place it in a way where it would make sense on the other side. So the body of the character becomes the head for the image behind it. You'll see what I mean when it gets done. So if I place the head over the body, the back of the body, then the head of the first, I'm going to say the first body for the inside cover. So the first body, the head becomes the second one's body and arms. And then the lower body of the first one becomes the second one's head, like hair. I think I said that right. I'm wondering if I should stop, go back, and listen to what I said. Okay, I did, and it made sense. I don't know if it made sense in, like, you understood me, but what I said was what I meant. I'm sure you're following along. See? Now it makes sense on both sides. So in order to get the house to fit in there nicely, I end up peeling back some of the rose ribbon border and cutting out a section so the house can just nestle in there nicely. I actually bought those tickets at the dollar store with this project in mind. I thought I would use those a lot more often too, and I didn't. I should have threw some in there in her package, and I totally forgot. I was in such a rush to get the box sent to her that I just totally forgot to add extra little things. There's so much I could have sent to her. Like those tickets, I have so many of them that I'm never going to use them all. So these little pins, again, this is something I have had for so long, like back from my scrapbooking days. So I thought it reminded me of like a fairy, and that was her wand. I don't know if that's what Kristin took from it, but that's what it made me think of. And there we have it, the inside of the box. I really do like how it turned out. It's so fun. And I do think from Kristin's reaction that she enjoys it as well. And that makes me so happy. I love listening to her open her box and go through everything. And if you haven't watched it yet, you must go to her channel and have a look at it. And don't forget to also go to her channel to look at how she made her box that she sent to me. So thanks so much. Bye.